Hey, welcome to the Achieving Your Optimal Health webinar series. And you can find our series that has been going now since June 12th of 2019. So we've been over a year. You go to LasVegasAreaTrails.com, click on the health education link. And this will take you to Achieving Your Optimal Health webinar series, where you can always register for the upcoming webinar. And you can access any, all the webinars that have occurred in the past year or longer. For example, Value and Strategy of Detox, June 17th, just to give you an idea, Michelle Ciancimino. And here you click on that link and you see the main theme of the webinar. You get the webinar replay, why listen to the webinar, what you're going to learn, what are the benefits, who is the presenter, and then you've got all the webinar slides. So this is true of every single webinar. This is how we've set up every single webinar we've presented at this point. And so tonight's webinar, and we'll have a webinar replay page on tonight's webinar, is featuring Glenn and Shoshi Hall of CreateHealthNevada.com. And here they are.
Oh,
Yeah.
And Glenn and Shoshi have an amazing business where they're doing a couple really important things. One is, Shoshi does Pilates, teaches Pilates, and has just an incredible business and effect on people who take her Pilates course. And she does online Pilates training. You can access those classes right here, Pilates Flow. And then Glenn and Shoshi do what they call Soma Flow, which works miracles on people, on their joints, on their muscles. If a person has a problem with full range of motion, Glenn can work on that person. If there's a structural issue, he over years has trained and practiced and has a ton of experience. As you can see, there are celebrities, there are a lot of their clients. Anyway, he works miracles. People that can't lift their arm above their shoulder find, and they've just given up, find that after working with Glenn, they can lift their arm above their head, and all kinds of structural issues. Glenn really works miracles to help people overcome them. But the area that we're going to look at today, and Glenn and Shoshi are going to talk about, is longevity. Because, you can lift your arm above your head, but if your life is going to be shorter because you didn't do certain things to extend your life, what good is that going to be? So Glenn and Shoshi have put together a program called the HEAL program, which is a program that is self-paced, it's online, and it teaches and guides people through establishing longevity principles and activities and behaviors and nutrition, exercise in their life that will extend their lives, meant to extend their lives. And so we're going to be talking with Glenn and Shoshi about longevity and just the some of the principles of longevity. So we're going to have a discussion with Glenn and Shoshi and give them an opportunity to give their philosophy and their practical training on longevity. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and introduce Glenn and Shoshi Hall. And let's see,
Big smile.
and they are here. And Glenn, born with a dysfunctional bad back, and he had to overcome those personal issues, and in the process, he's has a deep background in 10 different hands-on manual therapies, led him to design a new and effective approach to deep chronic pain release he calls SomaFlow. And Shoshi has been working with the human body performance for over 4 decades and is a master movement educator, specializing in SomaFlow, structural body therapy, healing, postural problems, rehabilitation, flexibility, and core strength. Glenn and Shoshi really work together well as a team. It's amazing to work with them. And as I mentioned, they have put their training into this online course. But we're just gonna talk about longevity. So, Glenn and Shoshi, do you want to say anything as a beginning to introduce yourselves and to, what would you like people to know about you personally? What did I miss?
First, I would like to thank you for bringing us on your show tonight, David. It's a pleasure to be here.
Great introduction.
Yeah, and we thank you for the introduction. We've been around for a few years, and we have I gotta say that we experimented on ourselves in many ways when it comes to our health strategies, and we've been an experiment on, and we discovered what works and what kind of works and what doesn't work. And with that, we looked at everything from the scientific background to even ancient wisdom, and how things were prescribed back then in the times. And when we started to put it all together, we noticed that this works really well and this didn't work, and it changed our lives. And by doing it, we started to feel the health just radiate out of our bodies, so to speak. And we started sharing it with people, what we did. And when they followed along, they started feeling the same results. And we really enjoyed that process, and we still do to this day. So we developed a program, just the HEAL program itself, but then we do have 3 programs. And the one we're going to talk about is the HEAL program today. So Shoshi and I have, we're going to come at it from different points of views, in her expertise and her background, and then mine in how it formulated into this HEAL Body Makeover program.
So I'm in the movement, more in the movement, healing the body from the physical, emotional angle too. But I think the profession chose me. Movement chose me. I've been moving since I was in dancing as a professional dancer for 25 years, and never stopped. And look at this, and now I met Glenn, that is also in health. I mean, it's like a joint team force forward to help people to feel as good as we are.
Yeah. Yeah. And with the 2 of us combining our knowledge over the years, we had a lot of fun putting this program together. And when people ask us, what to do, it's like, well, which way do you want to go with this? Where do you want to start with? What are some of the things you think about when it comes to your longevity strategy? And
It's a one shop stop all. What is it? That's what you say?
yeah,
I
that would be
mean,
the
you don't have to go for therapy. You don't have to go anywhere for nutrition. You don't have to go anywhere. You just stay here for movement and therapy. It's
Yeah.
all under one roof.
Comprehensive, covers everything. One thing that really comes to the fore that I want to point out is that in this world where you've got so many people with cookie cutter programs, they are on a multi-level marketing program for various weight loss, nutrition programs. What really strikes me about the difference with Glenn and Shoshi is that they are like mad scientists of movement and longevity. And one thing that I really want people to notice is that Glenn and Shoshi didn't pick this up from some cookie cutter method that they're taking and selling. They developed this. They experimented with themselves. Everything that they do, they've tried with themselves, and they've had a lot of experience with clients. I won't say they experimented with clients because they they applied the things that really worked by the time they got to their clients. But they've done a lot of experimentation and experience in working with clients. And so there is a wealth in everything that they present because they draw from a very deep well. And when they're working with someone where, a lot of the cookie cutter programs, they have maybe one solution and you do this one thing, you eat this, you take this nutrition, you do this exercise, you do this one thing. Glenn and Shoshi can draw from hundreds of a toolbox that contains hundreds of solutions when they're working with a client. And what they've done, go ahead.
It's very definitely customized because every client is so different and their needs is just very unique for each one of them.
Okay, so getting to longevity then, let's go ahead and see how much we can draw from this limitless wisdom and experience of these two experts. I want to ask the first question before we even begin to look at longevity strategy and tactics and things to do. We need a clear picture of what longevity looks like. What is longevity? So could you draw a picture for us?
Me?
What is, yeah.
A person in his 100-year-old will still look standing upright, confident, full of energy, full of life and joy, and no disease. And what to say, just communicating with people and physically, mentally, and spiritually is fed, not starved.
Right. From my perspective, imagine yourself still keeping your natural weight since you were in high school. Imagine that you don't have to turn around and buy new clothes every year because your shape is changing. Or you can buy new clothes that fit you even better. But imagine that. Or imagine yourself going out with the younger folks out there and doing the same activities as them and maybe even doing it better. Those are the kind of things you look at. Or imagine you waking up in the morning and you feel so invigorated and refreshed that when you go out, your joints don't hurt you. You're moving around and you can enjoy not only the flexibility, but the power that comes out of your body as you're moving through your lifestyle. Or imagine that you're full of energy and you're out socializing with people and you have this drive to keep on talking and your passion to come out and feel the things that really, really express you as an individual. These are some of the things that we talk about. These are some of the things that we get into when you feel good, when you feel that well state of being that comes in there. And those emotions are more like compassion and kindness and care and loving. Those are the ones that inspire you to keep on moving that way. It just, you feel stronger. How would you look when you walk? Would you walk feeling like your posture is exuding that expression? These are the things that when we grab onto longevity strategies is, what is it that you would like to gain out of this? What is it that you feel is the first step to making yourself feel better? And there are so many different types of myths, misconceptions, and mistakes that people make over the years. And I believe that we can show you a way that that can weed out all that stuff there, and guide you into your natural, true state of being and your natural health all through the rest of your life.
Okay, so let's summarize that then. Let's summarize that picture. So what I heard is that longevity, one image of longevity is when you're 100 years old, how you're going to look, how you're going to feel, what you're going to be able to do. But then I heard another image is that at every point in your life, it's going to affect you physically, mentally, emotionally. It's going to affect your confidence. It's like, when does longevity start? It doesn't start when you're 100. It's every single day.
Yeah.
The things you can do, the things you feel. So if I'm on the longevity track, then I'm more mentally alert today. I'm able to do things, keep up with people that are younger than me. I'm feeling emotionally just better emotionally. I'm feeling positive emotionally. All these things are happening today. Now, when I'm 100, I'll still be feeling better, but I don't have to wait to 100 to experience longevity. It happens right now.
Right.
You should be gracefully moving through life.
Yeah, you don't start it when you're 100. You want to, it's part of, should be, since you start being on your own,
Mhm.
and 18 and 20, living healthy. Don't wait until 100 or 50, and then it's a little harder. It's possible, but a little harder.
Even then, well, we see. I was talking the other day about this, and I seen a man who was 100 years old. He was running around the racetrack. He was sprinting around the racetrack, and competing with some 90-year-olders.
Okay, and so, go ahead, Shoshi.
There is a saying that if you are 60 and you can touch your toes, you're young. But if you're and you stiff, you can't bend over and touch your toes, you're old.
Right.
Oh boy. So there are tests.
There's another phrase they say, and maybe it's an older phrase, but they say, man is as old as his tissue. I like to add, man and women are as old as your tissue. So
Yeah,
right?
it's not just men, yeah.
So that's interesting. So you might say that a child that's under 10 years old could be on a longevity track, and a child that's under 10 years old could be off that track and headed in another direction.
Yeah.
At, at any at any point in life, we're either on that longevity track or we're on another track.
Mm.
So I'd like to ask a second question now then. What are some of the barriers to longevity? So what does that other track look like that's not longevity? And that becomes a barrier to our experiencing longevity today and at age 100.
So for me, I think it's like you don't have consistently healthy lifestyle, and healthy lifestyle is a very general. We're gonna get into that later. Um, you don't maintain a regular physical activity,
Mhm.
um, and you count uh, on the medical uh, for drugs and surgeries. Um, it's also stress. We are so busy around families and work and our goals and achievements, and there's no way. I mean, stress is fine. It's just the way you are going to manage it and to deal with that. That's people. I think a lot of people don't know how to lead themselves or be the leader of themselves uh, and deal with those stresses.
Mm-hmm.
So it's uh, the way your lifestyle is with how you manage stress and physical activities, very sedentary life. So that's the
Yeah.
three major for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's see.
There's a newfound science out there called epigenetics that tells that the environment that you give yourself is what you produce. So the way you think produces that environment. And when you, if it's the people you hang around with, then that's the environment you just created. If it's the people that you, even where you live, right? That creates an environment. If it's an environment where you are not very social, that's an environment. So all these things in there, how you produce your environment creates your health. And if you don't produce it in the manner that's befitting for you, then your choice, as you said, David, chance. You're just taking a chance on your health and your wealth in life, as opposed to what is it that you want to do to choose to change that and to feel better. And I believe that people need to find that. And when they try to avoid different things, like creating simple little habits or educating themselves on what's the best way to take care of themselves, or discomforts and pains that they try to avoid, instead of trying to challenge and see how they can resolve their pains, or finding just a simple little routine for themselves first before they give to others, right? These are the things that I think are barriers. And of course, then we go into affordable healthcare, or the time that you spend on yourself. These are some of the barriers, I believe, that also create a hindrance to longevity approaches in life. But if you,
How is that? What do you mean, affordable health care? How's that a barrier?
well, if we were to measure how much money we spend on health insurance, or the deductibles to go to a doctor to tell, what your blood work is, or your flu season or your cold seasons, you're going in there for a shot, or anything else for that matter that has to do with your physiology. That becomes very expensive. And it's not just a one-time payment. It's constantly throughout the years that you're paying for that and depending on somebody else to do it. What is it? What if you could imagine taking a little more responsibility towards yourself and think about some of the things that you're doing to your body? If you do that, believe it or not, your expenses go way, way down, and you'll find that you're actually saving money by finding better ways to take care of yourself than to depend on the external environment and have somebody else watch over you.
Yeah, I think if United States will invest more in a preventive medicine like they do in China, I think, right? I think we'll be better off, but that's not the case.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a big one. Dependency, giving up your power, giving up your responsibility to care for yourself. Oh, the doctor is going to take care of me. This this medication is going to take care of me. I need to have somebody else really tell me what to do, and become the expert for me. What were you saying, Shoshi?
Mentality that give me them that swing your magic wand. I want to be fixed right now.
Yes, that's very good. So, so what I'm hearing as far as barriers to longevity is a sedentary lifestyle, dependence on others, not taking control yourself of your own health, stress, creating an environment, being in an environment that does not support longevity. And that's an interesting one. The idea of avoiding pain, and how many ways we have created to avoid having to take those extra steps, having to
Lift things.
having to move around so we avoid the pain, and wow, we're in trouble. So, okay. Any other thing that you want to say about the barriers to longevity?
I would say another barrier, believe it or not, is more of the modern day technology getting in our way. It seems to detract us from our true nature and awareness of what we should be doing. And that, to me, is becoming more, it's permeating through society all the way from your children to all the way up into even your later years of life. People are hooked on different types of technology that they depended on, and they forget all about who they are as a human being. And we're animals. We're just thinking animals, and the complacency of comfort has taken over. And I believe that it's really weakening us on the mental basis and also on the physical basis, because everybody keeps depending on these things, even down to your health apps that they put on you, your biohacks, watching your heart rate, when you start looking at that kind of stuff, you're not literally listening to your own body, right?
Tell me how healthy I am.
Right. And today, did I do 10,000 steps today?
We're becoming a robot, not feeling ourselves. I also have another, I think I just thought about a barrier is when you believe everything that you hear on the media, instead of researching it more. If they say that, margarine is good for you, then you eat it. Or or anything else that this is like everybody's doing it, so I'll do it also.
Right.
And then
Yeah.
a year
Trends.
later, a couple years later is
Trends are always something
trends,
that's
yeah.
really fascinating. Or
Whoops, we were wrong.
study that's more of an opinion than it is, or the abstract of the study is limited to two people, or who was the one that that funded that study. And so a lot of people get confused what health is. So all those misconceptions or those myths or even mistakes that people have tried out and then said, well, I'm confused now. It didn't work for me, or it worked for a little bit, but here I am back to square one again. Mm-hmm. So these are, I think, are also some of the barriers that that people are confronted when it comes to their health.
Yeah, not listening to yourself.
Yeah.
Not being aware of yourself and then doing something that you feel, that you learned from the outside. Somebody said, do this. And, deep down that, well, wait a minute, this doesn't seem right, but they told me to do it, so I'm going to do it.
Right.
That's where we come in, since we are so passionate about health and anything to do with it. We do the research. We dive deeper into the physiology, chemistry of thing, and people out there, they don't have time. I mean, if you have a mother with kids and working, she doesn't have time to go and research, go into the details of all. She just want to ask the expert to tell her.
Right. Well, that's one thing, yeah. But we're truth seekers, so we look for what works best, and of course, we experimented on ourselves like little guinea pigs, and we can tell you all the pros and all the cons to everything. Mm-hmm. I guarantee you, I've done a lot of silly things, and a lot of things was like, oh, you did that? Yeah, I did. It didn't work out very well, but I can tell you the side effects of that one if you'd like to go ahead and try it. So, yeah, we can definitely share our experiences, trial and error, so to speak. But at the same time, we also did the research and the understanding of a lot of things and said, well, okay, that really makes sense now that when you put it that way. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're going to learn how to listen to yourself, and you're going to learn how to test different things and evaluate them, because that's what we have to do, really, to be healthy. You want to learn that from someone who's spent their life doing that.
Right.
And, that's you. I know from my own running, I've been a lifetime runner, and I run trails, and my history of running has been a history of working through one injury after another over a period of time. And I'm not injured all the time, but I mean, I've worked through a number of injuries, any one of which could have caused me to say, nope, I guess I'm not a runner. Knees, ankles, back, neck. I mean, I can just about say every single part of my body has been injured at one time or another. And yet what I did is I studied that injury. Okay, what's happening? How am I moving? And then worked through that. And then I worked through one of them. I'm working through one of them with you guys right now, plantar fasciitis. We had quite a discussion the other day on that. And I love how you guys gave me some real practical help on that and helped me to listen to myself. You accelerate my listening, which I think is so very important, and teach me how to listen and experiment, and gave me a number of things I could do. But I think that's that's what I'm hearing you say is part of longevity, is it comes from within. It's not something that someone or some program is going to bestow upon you.
Yeah. No, you have your own manual. We just show you how to read it.
Very good. You, you said what I said in just like one sentence. Very good.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'd like to ask another question then is now we're moving from the barriers to longevity to the question of overcoming those barriers. So what are some things that people can do to overcome the barriers to longevity?
Sure.
Um, First is again the educating yourself and being aware. You know what? We bashing technology, but also technology is a great way. In a second, you can find out, like you said, um, information about health and anything about health, nutrition. Um, so I think education, you might get a little confused with so many different um, uh, suggestion or information. So approaches. Um, so then invest in someone that you know and go talk to him. Consult with consultant.
Yeah. Yeah. A mentor, someone who's already done it, somebody who can uh, help you where they made mistakes and shorten your time on your own trial and error. Right? Isn't
Don't
that
have to reinvent the wheel.
what why do that? Why not just listen to someone who's already had the experience and the wisdom to show you the quickest way, the easiest way, the simplest way, and not have to be so confused on which is the right way. And I think that's what we do. We put together a program that does the 10 natural laws to living. And I think it encompasses the whole thing. It's like a pie, right? It isn't one piece of the pie that's going to change your lifestyle. It's a bunch of different pieces. And when you start to integrate each one, you notice that you're as a whole human being, you start to feel whole again, or instead of just one little piece of the of your health strategy, your longevity strategy. So I think what Shoshi was saying, to just back it up, is that education is the first thing. It's just to understand why you're doing it. I think when you understand why you're doing it, then it gives you the drive and it gives you the power and the choice to
Motivation.
make better decisions. And of course, as you see the results, then the motivation just kind of creeps up on you and the inspiration when you see the results of that. And
So when you have you educated yourself, the next thing is to be active, take action. So yeah, going to a consultant is taking action. There's a second one is start being more active, and there is you could do little habits that you can start from getting out of that sedentary life. I always say, I mean, put your clock timer for 20 to 30 minutes to get up from the chair and move around, or
try a gift, right?
yeah, that's it's in a 5-day challenge. So it starts the engine going. It starts when you start moving those little things start giving you more. Your mood changes and starts motivate you towards the positive action of being healthy. I mean, doing healthy things.
I would like to add on that I think the first thing, the second thing is to believe that your body can heal. All right. And understand that we are an incredible biocomputer, and that our body literally regulates and upregulates and downregulates things all day long. And when you start to create the new thought in your head, which leads to a new experience, which leads to a new experience, and then eventually to a new state of being, you start to roll the train forward on your health. And if you understand that you don't have to work so hard on your health, and if you do things more naturally, it will become easier for you than to say that you have to go, well, I got to do a regiment routine, or I have to be very disciplined to do this. When really it's not about that at all. It's just about tweaking things and changing things out for enough for your body to get a hold of that, your mind to get a hold of that, and see the momentum move forward, as Shoshi was saying. And whether that's through the movement for life, or through eating different foods instead of putting poisonous foods in your body, these things all of a sudden start to change. Now, people will have questions on, well, what outcome am I looking for? I believe that as you get better or you feel better, your vision and your mission will start to change. And as you start to feel yourself shed some weight off, or feel stronger, or notice that your muscles are starting to grow in places you didn't know, or you're moving gracefully, or you're waking up, or you're sleeping better, these things are like almost like an inner inspiration to oneself. And when our program, that's what the program does. And it does it in such a natural way, and yet it's so profound. It's profound to where you notice the changes within days, or just getting up and looking in the mirror in the morning and not seeing puffy eyeballs, or or your achiness. Your achiness is going out of your elbows or your knees or your ankles, and then
your nose is not running like I used to have. Boxes of Kleenex.
Everywhere.
I left a trail for Glenn every time to find me.
Oh no.
Everywhere. I know if she was to the car or she was back in the house.
It wasn't pleasant for Glenn. I didn't like that.
No.
But it's great. I am free from the Kleenex. Amazing.
Yeah, and for me, I've had some pretty major challenges, from disabled shoulder from a surgery to lower back problems I was actually born with a half a rib missing and a half a lumbar missing in my lower spine. But, I had to figure out how to deal with this for the rest of my life. And believe it or not, believe it or don't, I'm much better today than I was even in my 20s. Because in my 20s, I was strong, but I had lots of pains. And sometimes I would walk with a limp, or a sharp pain that actually felt like someone stuck a spike through my back, all the way to the other side of my pelvis. It wasn't very pleasant. And to deal with that, I had to get smart, and I had to figure a way out, because I wasn't going to live like this until I was 80, 90 years old. It's just no way. I refused to put myself in a category as some old person with a cane or a walker. That's not the way I see my life. And I challenge anyone out there to see what it is that you look like when you're older, in your 80s, in your 90s. What are you doing right now? Right now. if you got an image of your parents and sitting on the couch, or, you're in a wheelchair, guess what?
That's what you're gonna
That's
do.
you're taking a chance now. You're not making a choice in your health anymore. And I challenge you to look at yourself 80 years old playing tennis on the courts, or going hiking up in the mountains. Like we seen this one lady in Zion one day. We just did a 10-mile hike, and we were coming down, and she was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
She must have been about 70, 78, 79 years old. And she was going up for a second round on the
She's
same
like,
day.
they left her husband down there.
Yeah, she left. I'm going back up again. We were so impressed with her invigoration and her motivation and her conviction. It was inspiring just for us to see that.
This is actually another way to keep you motivated. Or, sometimes when we get older, we lose motivation. And I think if you surround yourself or just look for those people that are very active and strong and doing the things in that later age, that I think that's a good example. It's a good motivation, and they show you the proof that the body can get there and can be in that peak performance in that age.
In fact, you could be in better shape today at 60 than you were in your 40s. That tells you the power of the human body and how much it will literally go back if you give it the right environment.
So longevity can be a choice.
Yes.
You can decide, you can have this image in your mind. You can see a person that I want to be like that. You can decide to be that way, and start rearranging your life so that you become that person, because that person didn't just become that way at age 78. This is a lifetime of creating habits and an emotional mindset, nutrition, activity, all these things that you've spoken about. But what about if we're talking about a 70-year-old person who maybe has been on the non-longevity track for their entire life? Is it like, well, sorry, you missed the track. you're finished. What do you have to say to that person?
First question I asked is, what would you like it to be right now? Right?
You have to make the decision
because me, I go by a quote all the time. And it's, if I accept you for what you are, I will make you worse. However, if I see you as what you're capable of becoming, I help you become that. So you got to have the thought that, where is it you want to be? And I challenge people with that, because I don't think they put enough contemplation on that piece. So someone who's 70 years old and is literally living in a routine that's been terrible all their life, but they're coming to us, there's got to be something that they're concerned about. And that's where we come on in, and we find out what that desire is or what they're looking for. And then from there, we whittle away at that belief system of what they have. And then we create a new belief system for them. And if we could have them for a year, they would be a completely different person.
So it depends. What's the challenges? If it's a physical challenges, with the SomaFlow therapy, we get them back on the feet. And then we have this one lady that her daughter scared her, and they got the drive to come over here. Her daughter said, "You are moving with me to Costa Rica." And she's like, no way. There's no roads over there.
There's
I
no
can't
electricity
walk.
or
I
water.
cannot walk. She's like, I cannot walk. My knees are in bad shape.
Yeah.
So she called Glenn, and he started working on her knees, and
Right.
right.
She had a torn meniscus in her knee.
And then she felt really good, and she wanted to keep strengthening. So she came to me for session to rehabilitate her knees, to stabilize them, and she started.
She's doing Pilates now at 70.
She started
Wow.
out of the door. Instead, she came with a cane.
Yeah, no, it wasn't even a cane. It was a walker. It was one of them wheel, it was
You don't see that.
fire engine red walker.
She doesn't own that walker anymore.
No, she threw that out. Now she's starting on her diet now because she's feeling better. So now she's changing that piece of the puzzle. And we just keep adding on to the pie. We're not talking about sugar pies, right? We're talking about.
So at any age, any condition, a person can turn things around and either slow down the aging clock,
Yeah.
in some cases even reverse the aging clock.
Yes, absolutely.
It depends. The mind is so powerful. I believe it's so powerful. If you make your mind and take action, make your mind of what you want, of what you visualize, or your best vision of health. I believe you can get there.
It's not even a belief. We've seen it too many times over the years. And we just want you to know, everybody out there, that you don't have to live in this discomfort. When your health comes back, your wealth comes back. And I've had lots of people who are very wealthy come to me, and they're so miserable because they don't have any help. And they can't pay the highest doctor to even take care of them because they're just in such bad shape. They don't even know where to begin. And, some of the doctors will throw out some kind of line out there and say, well, if you do this, go ahead, that would help you out. But how many of these one-liners that you get out there, this advice, and say, well, I can take that and change my whole life? Mm-hmm. It isn't. It's you need some guidance. You need to start to learn that manual that I spoke about earlier. And it's inside every one of us. It's just learning how to read it. And once you learn how to read it and and then see how that equipment operates, it just, all of a sudden, you just feel those squeaky wheels starting to oil up and take off again. And that's the amazing part about the human body, is that you got 50 trillion cells that are moving for you, and they all working for the greater good of you. So if you give it the right stuff, it's going to give you the stuff back, right? And become, a whole organic human being, instead of it's trying to correct something that you did from the outside, or you made a bad choice, and now it's trying to correct something from the inside to get rid of that. Instead, you just go ahead and give it the clean fuel that it needs, or the exercise that it needs, or the sleep that it needs, or to get up and get a little bit of sun during the day and get your vitamin D. All these different things that come into play is something that we show in our program.
So longevity and health, what I'm hearing you saying, is not something that just happens by chance or by genetics, or because your parents were this way, then that's how you're going to turn out. Maybe they lived a long time, then wow, you hit it lucky. Or maybe they died early. Oh my gosh, that's too bad. But it's a choice that you can make.
It is. And even if you have genetics, even if you wanted to smoke until you're 99 years old and drink beer, that doesn't mean that you're doing any favors for the next generation. You're just weakening your own genes to the next generation.
Mhm.
And then if you ask yourself the question, well, did I have a quality of life?
Mhm.
You know, and most people will not answer that in a fashion that's saying yes. You know, it's more of like, oh, I really beat myself up, and you know, if you hear the undertones, they're there. You know, so even if you have a genetic enhancement, which is, you know, that's going to be a small percentage of the population. The rest of us, we can still change the gene expression inside of ourselves.
Mm.
And there's plenty of them in there that are just dormant, just sitting and waiting for you to activate them and turn them back on again. And when you do turn them on, oh my God, your body just goes and it just asks for more. So
That sounds so inviting. And what I'd like to do is I want to thank you for putting out there that vision. And I've got to say I've been working with you too, and you've been helping me with things that I thought were just, well, this is just how it is. And I got to say one thing about you that I've noticed is that you two are such caring individuals. I mean, you honestly care about people. And it just shines. It shows through. I've seen few people that have that depth of caring. But one thing that I want to bring up then now is two practical things that people can do right now to get started, to move toward this longevity track. And I'm going to share the screen real quick, and I want to show the you have a heal program. And what we have here is this program is in the process of being launched, but a person can actually begin experiencing this program now. And so you begin with health and evolution, fat as fuel, mindset and actions, insulin sensitivity, pantry raids, restocking your kitchen, dining out, how to stay healthy even when you're dining out, simple healthy habits, a 5-day get up and move challenge. I'm going to come back to that. Exercising for life, moving frequently, lifting heavy things. So moving, a lot of this is about movement.
Mhm.
And you mentioned that the sedentary lifestyle is something that is really anti-longevity, shortening people's lives. And so, and then I love this little chapter on the reason why and things that you can enjoy with your new body, your new lifestyle. So this is called the Heal Program, and it's a self-paced course, and there are modules in each of these areas. I mean, it's a real massive re-education, and and you mentioned, Shoshi mentioned, Glenn mentioned that education is so important. And here's the education. One other thing that I want to bring up is if somebody wants to do just one thing right now, and this is free,
Mm-hmm.
it's called the 5-day Get Up and Move Challenge. And under classes, downloadable, 5-day Get Up and Move Challenge. The Heal Body Makeover is there also. But this is just something I've gone through this. And as someone, I'm a marketer, web designer. Well, that doesn't sound too very active. And so I spend a lot of time sitting, as a lot of people do. and sedentary. And what Shoshi does is she takes you through, okay, you're in your office, you're at your computer. Well, here are some mind-body interruption exercises that you can do without leaving the room, just to get moving. And what a difference that makes. You create some momentum. And as Glenn mentioned, once you get started on this track, it becomes very exciting. You see results, and you just, your body shows you things you would never have imagined were possible. So I just wanted to bring that up. Do you, Glenn, Shoshi, do you have anything more that you would like to say about this?
I think the first thing is take the program. It really does. Shoshi has done a really cute and even has factual information in there to help encourage you to why you would do this 5-day get up and move challenge. My thought is I ask you to ask yourself, what would you like for your health? What is the one challenge that you would like to address? And when you can answer that pretty quickly, then from there, I would suggest you reach out to us, and we can help you steer you in the right direction. And if you like what we have to say, then maybe this course is for you. When it comes to just doing something for yourself, I say the first thing that I would do is look at your pantry and be honest with yourself and look at what kind of foods you have in there. And when you look at those foods, I want you to go and look at the packages and see if there's any ingredients in there that requires a chemist to read, or better yet, if it's a paragraph long, start to question, what is it that I'm putting in my body? Because when you start to look at that stuff, it is pretty scary. So that would be the one thing that I would say is look at your cupboard and read those labels. And if you cannot answer what is in that package or that can or whatever container it's in, I would have some concerns and start to get smarter on what it is you're putting in your body, because that's accumulating over years and it's toxic, and eventually your body's going to break down.
Yeah, just see if there is more than 4 products. I mean, 4 ingredients.
Right.
I just it should be only 4 to 5 ingredients in those.
That would be the
packages.
test. That's the yeah.
Okay, and that's just part of the HEAL program, talking about pantry raids, and look at what's in your pantry. Look at the ingredients.
Yeah, I think that would be the first thing to give you a deeper understanding is when you go shopping.
And mostly sugar. Look for.
Yeah.
You see how much sugar they put in everything. So. No.
Very good. Okay. Yeah, there's so much depth here that you have to share. So anyway, that's just a small sampling of the HEAL program. They're like 30 or more modules that have education here, things that you can do right now. And if a person were to just go through this program and choose a few of the things, get up and move, do this exercise, quit eating this food, start eating more of this other food. Just choose 1 or 2 things.
Yeah.
The exercise videos are very well cued, so you don't want to injure yourself. It's very well demonstrated. and cued, and it's simple
For anybody.
for anyone. Yeah, there is modification. Even if you have knee problem, some things, or shoulder problem,
Wow. Look
Yeah.
at this.
abdominals.
Yeah, yeah, we got all kinds of things there for everybody. So there's no way you can squirm out of it. And we even have dining out. We even show you how to dine out and still keep your health. So we've encountered all the challenges, and we in our program you'll find a lot of aha moments and empowering moments, no matter what you do. And of course, if you really, if you really feel like, well, yeah, this is great and everything, but I feel I need a little help more. Well, we're also here. We can coach you too in these programs too. So we can educate you more. We can show you more tricks and things that you might not even think about on how to approach. So we can customize it accordingly to your needs. And that's a thing that we would like to let you know that we got you covered.
Yeah,
We got you covered.
And if you got to this point and you still feel tired and in pain and low of energy, then it's time to do something about it. Don't take another year. Remember the longevity. Don't wait until you get it. Life is short.
You can't get that time back.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You really can't. Once that time's gone, it's gone. So
Yeah, when are you going to start?
when
When are you going to make that decision?
Sick and tired of being tired.
Yes.
Very good. Well, Glenn and Shoshi, thank you so much, not only for sharing some secrets of longevity and helping us to know some specific things that we can do right now to turn things around at any point in our lives, but also just for the inspiration of who you are and the example of who you are. Just really appreciate this.
Thank you.
Thank you, David.
Appreciate
Thank you.
You too.
Yes, we do. We very much are very appreciative and grateful to know you. And we truly enjoy being with you. And thank you for having us on your show.
Thank you so much. Okay, so definitely go to createhealthnevada.com, get that 5-day Get Up and Move challenge. Look at the HEAL program, and if you'd like to really make some significant changes, invest in the HEAL program. And definitely Glenn and Shoshi are available to give them a call. Their phone number's there on the website. They even have a calendar scheduler. You just schedule yourself in and have a conversation. And you got to start somewhere, and this can be an awesome place to start right here. Okay.
Let's jumpstart your life again.
Yes.
Let's put the little jumper cables on you and get you going again.
I think you're the ones to help that to happen. Okay. Well, thank you so much, and I hope we can have you back.
Thank you. We look forward
Thank
to coming
you.
on back if you choose to.
Okay.
Great.
Bye for now.
Okay. Bye-bye.